Hello, everyone. I'm Mark,
And I'm Smiling Rob.
and I guess we were able to do a video today because if the Knicks had lost yesterday, we would not be doing a video because Rob would be too depressed. He takes it very
Oh
seriously when
no,
the Knicks lose.
no,
Uh,
I'd be a tad sad, but I don't have to be that way today because they won.
all right, so we're going to talk about today's game. The Knicks in Indiana, the Knicks actually earned this victory. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and make sure you hit that notification bell when you subscribe so that you get notified of our new videos. We have shorts and video. We have like 60 videos in shorts right now, so you can check them out on our channel. And feel free to make comments, especially if they're intelligent comments. Anyways, so last night, 130 to 121, the Knicks beat Indiana Pacers to go up 2-0. But the Knicks had some injuries that, if I was a Knicks fan, and I'm not, I'm kind of neutral on this, I'd be concerned because they already had a short rotation because they lost Randall before the playoff season, before the playoffs started, and then they lost Robinson, right? He's one of their top 8 players in the rotation. And now they have 2 injuries that we don't know how serious they are because we'll see how Brunson's foot or ankle, whatever it was, it might stiffen up. And their small forward, you want to pronounce it for me, Rob, so I don't mispronounce it?
Okay, OG Anabati.
Okay, he had a hamstring pull. So I can tell you from playing Ultimate Frisbee for 40 years, those are nothing to sneeze at. So we'll see what happens. Really I'm concerned for you, Rob, and for Knicks. And it's unfortunate because I like to see the best teams win. I don't like to see the teams that just don't have their players. But their rotation's already short, Rob, and now you got 2 players permanently injured and 2 players that are injured that could be hobbling next game. Are you concerned?
Oh, of course I am, but like that's the whole season. That's why if you're not a Knicks fan, you should be. When they still don't complain and say, "Oh my gosh, this guy's hurt." They just say, "Okay." Like even during the game, that's what Josh Hart said. He goes, "Next man up." So they put in Precious, and he did a pretty good job when he was out when they lost to OG. So I mean, it's a concern. Hopefully, with this day off, whatever they can. I'm pretty sure Brunson will be there, but I don't know about OG. But it's just the next man up. They got to keep, and they play with grit. They keep playing hard. That's why you have to like them. I'm sorry, you really have to like the Knicks.
I have nothing against the Knicks. I live in Philadelphia now, and I grew up. We both grew up in Rochester, New York. For the people that haven't watched your videos before, but I was never a Knicks fan. I was a Michael Jordan fan, so I was anti-Knicks during that time period. But I have nothing against the Knicks, and I am now a Brunson fan because I think he's playing great. He may be playing better than anyone else in the playoffs. Him and Anthony Edwards, who knows? But he's playing great, and if you're not a fan of his, I don't know, there's something wrong with you because
when he got, when he got hurt, I heard that everybody in the arena, it was halftime. So all the people were in the mezzanine, whatever, and it was very quiet. They said everything was really quiet, and then he came out and was warming up, and it was like the news came out. He's warming up, and people were rushing from the mezzanine to see, like, oh my gosh, he's back out there. Oh my, that's great. And then when he played, it was like I said, this happened to be the anniversary of when Willis Reed came out of the tunnel.
I heard somebody making comparison. I think it was a bit much, but. I will say that the MVP voting came out yesterday. There was no surprise that Jokic won for the 3rd time in 4 years. SGA was 2nd. Luka Doncic was 3rd. Giannis was 4th. And Bronson, somewhat surprisingly, because I thought Anthony Edwards or Jason Tatum was going to be 5th, was 5th. Tatum was 6th, and Anthony Edwards was 7th. So that's a good deal that he came in 5th when I thought the projections were he wasn't in the top 5. So congratulations on that. I'm glad to see that, and I know that makes an argument even stronger for Rob to want to put it in the Olympic team. And I think if Kawhi Leonard's injury is still lingering, I think they will add him for sure.
You do realize he's playing better than right now. All the people that are on the Olympic teams, he's playing way better than most of them who even on the team.
Right, I know, Rob. But as I mentioned before, they don't just go by who's the hottest player in the last 3 months or 2 months or 1 month. They go like the last couple of years. They also go for position and importance and things that they need on the team. So we'll see. I'm just saying how they always choose Olympic teams, Rob, that way. You can't just choose who's hottest because
No, I mean,
they might cool off. You know what I mean?
well, I mean, that's fine too. But I mean, they may cool off, but if you have someone who's playing well, I mean, you should recognize them. You can't just say, "Well,
they did." It's my understanding he was next in line after Kawhi Leonard. When I saw a list in an article that I saw, I don't know for sure if that person had the inside scoop from who was on the committee or not, but that's what I saw in an article. Anyways,
but I mean, the reasoning was like, "Oh, he's too short, doesn't play defense, can't score."
well, his
and I'm
defense isn't great.
Well, neither are other players like Booker.
I agree with, but they can't have.
Curry,
We've talked about this. That's the whole point. You can't have too many players who can't play defense, who don't emphasize defense on that one team.
Yeah, they should.
Anyways,
yeah. So,
let's talk about the game last night. And I want to say that the reason the Indiana lost this game was because their defense is not as good as the Knicks. And I mean, I don't think that's necessarily the reason they lost last game, because the refs contributed to that. But they're either way, in both games, the Knicks played better defense than Indiana. I mean, they allowed 130 points. And I guess the coach for Indiana is upset with the refs last night, but I didn't see that last night. I saw it the game before. I thought they were both pretty physical. You know, I couldn't necessarily see a favoritism towards the Knicks in that particular game.
And see, that's
the Knicks are fairly physical. I will say that. Well,
Indiana was too. They're trying to be. They were, but they're not as physical as the other teams. But for him to really start going that route of the referees, that's really poor coaching. It should be get your defense together. They give up 64 points in the second half. They thought the game was over when they were up by 12 at halftime. But I mean, after that, when he came out, he scored 24 points in the second half, and then the Knicks scored 64 points.
Well,
how the refs stopped that?
I will say that the same ref was there. Was a Mark Davis. He did, when Malone came out on the court and started yelling at him during the game the other day.
Yeah.
He didn't even give a technical when any other ref would have given him a technical. And then yesterday he gave 2 technicals to Carlisle. So he's got to be more consistent with that. You can't just not give one to Malone it's a Minnesota coach, and then give 2 ones to Carlisle for doing actually less than Malone did. That's just not consistent. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I actually do agree with that. I can't believe Malone didn't get a technical foul or even thrown out of the game.
One. I don't think he should have been thrown out, but get one and get back to your back to the side.
He should have been thrown out because he would not. I mean, once he got right and almost in his face of people holding him back, he should have retreated. But he kept on coming towards the referee, which is in a threatening.
Doesn't matter even if they held him back. Just
it doesn't matter.
It was enough to get a technical, as far as I'm concerned.
If someone's holding you back from that, you're threatening that person. So.
Now, Rob, I saw one comment. I think it was in Facebook that they said Bronson drives to the basket and then slows down and hesitates, so the defender behind him runs into him and he gets a foul call. And they said that Trae Young was doing that, and they put a new rule in last year to say that shouldn't be a foul anymore. And they said Bronson's doing that and getting away with it. I don't know if that's true. I'm just saying. I wasn't watching for that the last 2 games, but I read that in Facebook today. I read that in the column.
Well, that's not true. I mean, he's not.
I don't know if it's true or not. But I'm going to watch for it next game, and I'll tell you whether.
Be sure to watch for that. He's using and abusing it. Him in one-on-one, they can't stop him. The Sixers guy couldn't stop him. They put other people on him. He did one-on-one. He used and abused them. He's just his footwork. What you have to do is watch his footwork, which I think is amazing for someone his size. He does it he's shooting over people who are much taller than him, and he's going by people like that. So to say that kind of, it's not even true. I don't know.
I'll say, for sake of completeness, we should mention that Bronson scored. He sat out the entire second quarter, which he wouldn't have sat. He only played 32 minutes. I'm sure he would have played at least 12 more. But he was 11 for 18 and got 29 points, 4 for 6 for threes. And that was off the sore foot or sore ankle, whatever it was. And DiVincenzo, he got 28 points, and he was 6 for 12 from 3. So he had a really good game. And so did your forward that I can't pronounce his name, Anubabi, whatever his name. He got 28 points, 10 for 19, 4 for 7 and threes. But Tyrese Halliburton, he bounced back, and first of all, he took a lot more shots than last game, but he got 34 points. He was great yesterday, at least offensively, and he was 7 for 11 from threes. He was on fire. He kept him in the game, but it wasn't enough because, Tobin got 20 points. And
He got his points in he got his points in the first half, and then he was AWOL in the second half. That seems to be the trend against. I've been noticing with the teams that are playing the Knicks or just playing in the playoffs. He was hot. Same thing with Embiid. He was hot the first half, and then the second half, he was nowhere to be found. So I don't know if it's a Knicks defense or if it's just they get tired.
I don't know,
because I've been noticing that lately. I mean,
someone that made that comment that Knicks have a short rotation, but they don't seem to be tired in the fourth quarter. So will it continue as the playoffs drag along? I don't know. They do start to play more often than they do in the first round coming up. Sometimes it's every 2 days, sometimes it's every 3 days. So we'll see what happens. When is the next game for the Knicks?
It is Friday, tomorrow.
They're going to play Friday, so they're going to be playing every other day right now. And in the NBA today, we got 2 games tonight. A series that we'll see what happens tonight. We got Cleveland at Boston. Not many people are giving Cleveland much of a chance, but Dallas and Oklahoma City. I think that people thought Dallas was going to have a chance, but I just don't think Doncic is healthy enough for them to have a chance. So unfortunately, I don't think they're going to be a very interesting series. But they would.
So like we were saying before, injuries are really taking their toll on the way the playoffs are going to be played or going to happen. So most of the teams, it's happening now. Friday
night we have the New York and Indiana. At this time in Indiana, maybe they'll get more help from the refs than they did. And Denver at Minnesota, which of course they're in big trouble, but who knows? They do have the best player in the league. We got the MVP last night, and maybe Murray's injury is not as bad. We'll see.
That's kind of lame to say they need help from the refs. They should do it on their own. Finish it out. They're up by 12 again. They're up by 12 points at halftime. The best player right now in the playoffs is hurt. You should really take advantage of that, but they did not. See, like I said, it seems like when they saw him out there, like, oh no, he's back, and they gave up 37. They gave up.
They were 36-18, I think, in the third quarter.
Yeah, and then that quarter.
They should have put the
game away.
Well, I don't know. They did get a 10-point lead, but it's not like the other Knicks suck. So, but they did get a 10-point lead with him gone. But anyways, they should have gotten a little bit more, but they didn't. And that's give credit to the Knicks, the rest of their team without Bronson, that they played well enough. And from I guess it was like 4 minutes left in the first to the end of the second half, that was like 16 minutes they played without him. And give them credit for playing well, the Knicks. So the Knicks are going to be might be a little bit of a challenge for the Celtics, but I don't give them a big chance to win still, especially since they're losing players left and right. I'd be concerned if I was a Knicks fan. But be that as may. All right, so Friday night we have a game. We'll try to Rob likes to talk about the Knicks. We'll try to do another video on Saturday and talk about Minnesota, Denver to see if Denver can bounce back and make it a series. If they lose that game, obviously it's really over with.
Do you think of Denver? Do you think if Denver wins that game in Minnesota, that it'll go to 7 or 6? So you think they'll bounce back, or?
I don't know. I'm going to wait to the fourth game because that if Minnesota wins game 4, it's 3-1 with the Minnesota still having a home game left. So they'd have to win. Right. Denver would have to win 3 straight, and 3 straight against that defense seems awful hard to me.
Yeah.
It just maybe they figure it out, because I said it looks like a press sometimes, the way they trap people and everything like that. And I'm not sure they were ready for it, but they played them in the regular season, but I think the intensity was more than they were used to.
They were 3-1 against them in the regular season, so it's not like it's a new thing for them that they.
No, but the intensity picks up in the defense.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, in the playoffs,
so I don't think it was the same thing.
Right, I agree. Yeah, everything picks up in the playoffs. Yes.
So we'll see what happens Friday night. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe and make comments. And you want to say goodbye, Rob?
All right, peace out. Go Knicks.
Take care, everyone.